Markets on Air, with a focus on medical technology, progress for life. Today's procedure could be tricky for Dr. Jürgen Meixensperger. The patient has a tumour directly beneath the surface of her brain. The operation will take 4 hours. The neurosurgeon performs it by hand, but technology plays a key role every step of the way. Computers supply a constant stream of data about the affected brain region and the patient's overall condition. It can be hard to maintain an overview. That's one reason why Meixensperger helped to found a research project at Leipzig University Hospital. In the dummy operating theatre, Meixensperger gives the researchers tips on improving OR practice, like having a computer closer to the surgeon and getting machines made by different manufacturers to communicate better. He'd like to control them with a central program.
Surgeons need to be able to directly control all of the different instruments they use during a procedure. If it's a drill head, for example, we need to be able to change the rotational speed ourselves.
Around 30 programmers and software engineers are involved in the research project. The millions of euros it's cost so far come from state coffers. Makers of medical devices will also profit from the project in the long term.
We develop these standards in collaboration with industry. It's not a good idea to do it without an industry partner. Everyone can take advantage of these standards. That doesn't bother me because we need standards to develop meaningful value-added functionalities.
The engineers shunt the data from the equipment to an interactive control panel. In this test, the devices are communicating with each other.
I think the future of OR technology is digital. Today, many devices really don't have a lot of associated support software. A lot of medical machines aren't as far down that road as machines are in other areas of industry. But I think they'll start using it more and more in the coming years.
Before long, smart software may play a central role in the operating room, backed up by robots like this one. It can't replace a surgeon yet, but it might soon be handing over the forceps in brain operations. This one, performed by humans, was a success.
206 billion euros. That's how much revenue the digital health market will be making worldwide by 2020, according to a forecast by the Roland Berger consulting firm. One trend is rising investment in companies that produce medical applications for smartphones. These mobile apps can monitor and analyze data like blood pressure and heart rate, make initial diagnoses, and tell users when it's time to go to the doctor. And analysts say electronic medical records can lower costs to health systems by tens of billions of euros.
Record investment. In 2017, Chinese investors spent a record sum on mergers and acquisitions of German companies, for instance, a stake in Deutsche Bank. Although the number of takeovers declined compared to the previous year, Chinese investors spent more money than in the past. While Chinese investment amounted to just 423 million euros in 2015, that number jumped to 8 billion in 2016 and rose further last year to 11.2 billion euros. In terms of the number of transactions, Germany was the main target for Chinese investments in Europe, ahead of Britain. Analysts expect Chinese investments to pick up pace again this year. New sectors like infrastructure, food, pharmaceuticals and retail are looking attractive for Chinese buyers. For instance, a reported Chinese takeover of fashion chain C&A.
Green Week in Berlin. A total of 400,000 people came to see this year's International Green Week. It's one of the world's biggest trade fairs on food and agriculture. For 10 days, more than 1,600 exhibitors from 66 countries invited the curious to try their specialties. Themes at this year's Green Week included digitalization and animal welfare. And Germany presented a new record this year. Farming exports rose to 78 billion euros in 2017, up around 4%. That makes Germany once again the world's third largest exporter of food, farm products, and agricultural technology.
German car makers optimistic about US market. At the Detroit Auto Show in January, representatives of the German car industry were confident about sales in the United States.
This is a huge market. 17 million cars were sold in 2017, and we are quite proud that we could increase our market share.
That "we" includes BMW, which says it does most of its production in the US, securing thousands of jobs not only in its own US plants, but with suppliers. There were bullish tones from Daimler as well. The Stuttgart-based company says it's convinced that German quality and innovation will win out. Good sales figures seem to confirm that.
Respect for German engineering and German car manufacturing hasn't really dwindled. I think maybe the Volkswagen brand took more of a hit than the German auto industry in general in terms of people's perception. I mean, people are still buying Porsches, people are still buying BMWs and Mercedes-Benzes, and they still think they're great cars.
What with the booming American economy, low unemployment and Donald Trump's tax overhaul, German car makers have grounds to hope that 2018 will be a stellar year on the US market.
The city of Bonn is located in western Germany. With 325,000 inhabitants, it's among the country's 20 biggest cities. Situated on the Rhine River, Bonn was the seat of government of the German Federal Republic until 1999. 6 ministries still have their headquarters here, as do 18 organizations of the United Nations, so Bonn has excellent international connections. The city is also home to the headquarters of 2 major DAX companies, Deutsche Telekom and Deutsche Post DHL. With a total of 32,000 employees, they are Bonn's biggest companies. Bonn is also home to Haribo, of gummy bear fame, although the sweets maker is moving its headquarters just south of the city. Nearly 16,000 medium-sized businesses are also based in Bonn. Most visitors to Bonn come for its many trade fairs and conferences. But the countryside along the Rhine and the Siebengebirge Hills is also a great attraction for vacationers. And that was Markets on Air.